Today's video, we're going to talk about the YouTube ads algorithm and learning how to get tons more out of your ads, understanding how this algorithm actually works to run your YouTube ad campaigns, okay? The key thing I'm going to go over here that will make you tons more money is understanding that the video ads that you have are a lot more about entertaining while educating than just educating by itself. And I'm gonna have some examples of different markets where we did this and the results we got thereof. So if you stay to the end of the video, you will get that information from me so you can see how to make tons of money for yourself, make it rain physically out of the sky. Money by having video ads working for you day and night, but also how specifically in terms of the mechanics, how to run your ads to please and pet that algorithm so it's just wants to print money for your business accordingly. I got a case study directly I'm going to share at the very end of this video that talk about how your cost per view when you're advertising goes down by as much as 90% once you understand how to employ this system for your business, okay? So with that said, we'll get directly into the content here. Now, first off, while Google is going for audience satisfaction first and foremost with their YouTube ad campaigns and their ad system on YouTube ads, just like they're doing it with the organic ranking system on YouTube as well. So I hear a lot of people talking about, of course, how to grow a YouTube channel organically. They talk about the algorithm, what the algorithm likes, what they don't like, but almost nobody's talking about the YouTube ads algorithm, which is why, of course, I made this video. But key thing I want to explain right up front is Google's looking at the same type of things. Does a video ad help the user get something that was useful to them? If it does, they want to show you that ad more and they want to reward that advertiser with better profitability from that ad by lowering their cost per view primarily to encourage them to stay around as an advertiser instead of just advertising a bunch of videos nobody likes and people just get really pissed off at ads and don't pay attention to any of them, if you will. And then to put that a bit more specifically, Google's looking to make sure the advertisers that they have advertising on YouTube make money if they have low skip rates on the ad. So the skip button, obviously, if people don't skip that as often, indicating people they like at least the hook at the start of the video. They have a lot of people clicking through the ad, indicating that the ad was useful to the audience and or the video ad was entertaining enough and promised something useful enough to the user that they clicked through, and have people converting. That is, they bought something after they actually clicked through that ad or turned into a lead if you're doing lead generation. Which is why, by the way, is it important to have tracking with your campaigns to track not only leads, but sales, or whether at least a lead is qualified using offline conversion tracking, which is a separate topic I won't go into. Or if you're doing e-commerce, you're tracking the sales revenue itself. The YouTube ad algorithm has the maximum level of data about whether your video ad is working or not for their users or useful to their users or not that they can get. If you will, if you put a lot of time and effort into your campaign, you want them to know everything because once they know it works well, they're going to lower your cost per view. And then obviously, if you can lower your cost per view by 90%, instead of paying 10 cents a view, you're paying a penny a view. It makes it pretty darn easy to make money at that point in time, assuming your targeting is right, or at least somewhat mostly right itself, which I'm going to go into about targeting here in a minute. With that said, I'll tell you from experience, I run, just to let you know, lots and lots of YouTube campaigns. We've ran hundreds and hundreds of YouTube campaigns in the past. We use them all the time. They're so profitable. What keeps people from doing it in the first place is because they don't see their competitors doing it, so they don't do it. And they think also that because big companies aren't doing it, it's not useful. When the internet came out, what did people say then? Can you really sell your product on the internet? Does the internet work? And then, of course, when Google came out, does Google Ads really work? Everybody says this 5 or 10 years when the thing is released, during the time where the returns are insane, that they could have jumped in on it. Then once everybody and their dog, and there's 10,000 tutorials on how to do it. It's been around for 10 years already. Then people start jumping on. And then, of course, the returns are a lot less. I'm not an early adopter of everything because you might run out of money that way. Anybody can do a small test on YouTube and see that this works. So there's no excuse not to try it for your business. The main thing is you just have to understand the things that make it work. So you're not just bland. What most people do, if they do try it, you're at least trying stuff that typically works on YouTube. People that don't get their ads to work on YouTube don't typically have a deliberate strategy or experience in making video ads work. They don't understand the main thing being scripting. You have to have a certain flow to that video and approach that will typically work. Of course, I find different stuff that works all the time that I never knew works. But there's some key formulas there that typically work. You have somebody who pretends to be a customer or is a customer reviewing the product. You get your product reviewed on mainstream TV, which you can pay to get on mainstream TV anymore because they're dying out. Use that as your video ad. You can do, I won't get into all the individual approaches here, but you go with the formula that works. I've got separate videos where I've talked about how to put together a video script that will work, if you will. People will just do a random video ad and they'll say, here's my product, look how nice it is. And, people are buying it because of blah, blah, blah. And it's so random that it's really silly to think that would have worked ultimately. And you got to follow a proven formula. People also that don't get YouTube ads to work is they don't test enough ads. I'm not a genius. I don't know how to come up with an ad that works perfectly every time. To be honest, the ones where we've had the most results, we've tried 30, 40, 50 different ads. And then we found 2 or 3 that worked really well out of those. Okay. And then those just consistently keep producing most, really good profit margins for our business moving forward. Even with the understanding of the type of formulas that work, you got to test a bunch of stuff to find that ad that has really high engagement with the audience that you're trying to get in front of, that has the low skip rates, a lot of people clicking through and people buying as well. So you're not just having something that gets high click-through rates and it's got, it's clickbait, but you also can deliver on that promise on the other side of what you're doing. And the key thing here that you should know is you need to focus on, when you make your video campaign, it's both entertaining and educational, both. It's not simply enough anymore if you're going to get any kind of attention online, not only just from the YouTube ads, but any organic on social media. You got to be able to educate while entertaining, because people, when they get information alone, you're not going to keep their attention for very long. You might, if they're super interested, you're not going to keep their attention over long periods of time. It's almost like, if you remember in school, you'd watch what the instructor said for a while, but you'd always just kind of zone out after a while because it's so damn boring how they're presenting it. And you liked or appreciated the teacher who made it entertaining for you. This is the exact same thing. How can you make getting across that information in an entertaining way so they just want to watch, instead of, hey, I want to know what the benefit is, I'm going to watch. And so that's where the 90% of the money makers that we use on YouTube ads comes from, is that the video is damn entertaining. And as a byproduct of that, they were forced to recognize our product or service, what were the benefits in the process. But the other main way that people don't get YouTube ads to work is they don't understand proper targeting. And I'll tell you from experience that this one is the easiest by far to do. Why? Because Google, the targeting is so precise. All you have to do if you're selling a toolbox is put together a custom intent audience targeting all the people typing in toolbox for sale, competitor toolboxes, all that, to make an audience of people to target. So essentially with your ad now, you can get in front of every single person in the last 30 days who's in market for a toolbox with your ads. I mean, anybody can do this. All the money is making the video ad, understanding how to do it, going with the proven formula, testing a bunch of different ads. And it can be the same formula, but you try 10 different versions of it, a longer one, shorter one, you cut out certain parts, but it's worth it to do, because once you find one video ad that works, it's going to provide another $1 million a year in sales for you predictably, and do it year in and year out once you have it. Yeah, even if you have to spend a few $1,000s to put a few ads together and test it, it's absolutely nothing. It's simply a drop in the bucket for what you can make on the back end when YouTube ads actually works. For the main reason being, people love going to YouTube to look for and do research in your market. So if they are going to try to buy a toolbox, guess what? They're going to YouTube to research it. 2, none of your competition is doing it. So guess who they're going to buy from if you have really good video content that they saw? It's going to make them much more likely, at the very least, that they're going to buy from you now. But also, if your ad's good enough, it's going to get them to go right through to your site to buy right away. And then I would say a 4th reason being, you get them to click through your site, they're at least now tagged and you can remarket to them. So now you know they're in market for a toolbox, and you can remarket other videos and other banner ads and other things to them to get them the rest of the way to a purchase, if you will. The most businesses don't understand how to make video ads, and they think any video that they do of their product is, I mean, that's it. And I tried it and it didn't work. And it's the same thing with Facebook too. Like, people try Facebook, my product's there, it didn't work. No, it was the angle of the ad. The ad is everything as to whether that Facebook campaign works or not. Facebook will understand how to get in front of people that buy. The question is what you have in terms of on the ad good enough to get people to click through at a high rate. I mean, 90% of it, okay? YouTube ads, 90% of it is the video ad. Can you put a successful one together or not? And formulas that we use time and time again, to where 9 times out of 10, if we go with the top 5 formulas that typically work, we're going to find success with at least one of them. And then once we find that success with one of them, we will run 10 different variants of that and then find the ones that work the best out of that. And then we're making a ton of money. I mentioned I have a case study here where we're with a CFO outsourcing firm. And I wanted to talk about that experience and how much of a difference that affected our cost per view and how we did it and so forth. But before I do, if you have any questions about anything I'm covering here, leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a question or comment on this channel, typically within a short period of time, like 24 hours. You also can reach out to me through my Discord group. I've got a link to that in the video description. You can also reach out to me through my site, and we can set up a call. You can find my site at guaranteedppc.com. If you reach out to me through my site, the site's there, by the way, because that's my site to promote our PPC management services. We manage ads for clients' online ads that they're running, and we offer a contingency guarantee in that we do not charge our clients management fees upfront until we get them a certain minimum lift in the profitability, either in terms of raising their sales is what we'll guarantee, or raise the leads that they have, you know, basically on the same ad spend that they have now, which would make them more profit. The idea being that we're going to offset our management fee by the increase in profit that we give you upfront. No other agency does this. If you're interested in having a service like that, reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com and I'll give you a quote on how much we can guarantee for you. You know, if we can get you results, which we should be able to. And then also, if you're interested in shortcutting the process and getting results for your market. If we've worked in your niche market before, and we've worked in hundreds of different niche markets, you can buy from us the winning ads, landing pages, all of it that work for your niche market as well. And you can copy paste those into your ad account and get the same results we did in your market or currently still getting in another city or country that you're not operating in, and just use it there. And for the most part, you're not going to save any money not using our template, because you're going to have to go through and spend tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars to figure out what we did in your market. So even though the template might not be $5, ultimately, you're not going to save money not buying it, because we've already made profitable results in your market and we've already optimized the hell out of the ads in your market already. So if you're interested in that, let me know. We've been in hundreds of markets, so the chances are quite high we've got the results you're looking for. And I can tell you the results we got in your market similar to that if you contact me. So with that said, getting into the case study here, ultimately we had a client who did CFO outsourcing and itself. The client had video ads running in their account. The client had run, most people would think, how to do video ads, where you're talking about the benefits of having a outsourced CFO, which is a chief financial officer, and they'll help you figure out the expenses that you do have, how to leverage any income that's coming from. Okay, this is working. Why aren't you doing more of that? So second pair of eyes on the business. But we went through all the benefits there, and then also talked about the results that we got with other companies and how much results we got. And that was actually a decent ad itself, but it's pretty boring. All in all, that's what I'm talking about in terms of what I was mentioning before. You can't just educate people anymore. At least when you're talking about YouTube ads, because the YouTube ads algorithm rewards people that are highly liking your ad and engaging with your ad. Not, oh, this is an ad, I'm going to click out of it. Your goal is to say, wow, this is so entertaining. I don't care if it's an ad, I'm going to watch it anyway. Because then you're going to please the algorithm, and then YouTube is going to want to make sure you make money because they want to keep you around as an advertiser, so people as a whole start to like the ads more and not just despise them and click skip no matter what they see, and just become like a robot, skip, and just doing that automatically every time, which they want to train people out of that. It's the same thing how they handle Google search ads, shopping ads. They're seeing which advertisers have the best ads. They get clicked through at the highest rate, and the ones that do, they want to make sure that they stick around as an advertiser, charge them less per click, give them the better quality clicks. And the YouTube ads algorithm operates basically identically to that. But, so that standard ad, when we switch to something different, ad that mentioned about how the average company has employee theft of some sort going on somewhere in the company itself, including you. And the way that this gets spotted is typically by having a outsourced CFO or CFO in general looking through your finances, which is why companies have it. Otherwise, this stuff doesn't get spotted. So how are you ever going to know it's going to happen? And yes, it's happening to you. And if you can't afford a CFO, what you do in the meantime, let's say you're only doing $5 million a year in sales revenue. Typical company with a CFO, full-time CFO is doing $100 million in revenue per year. They do something called a fractional CFO, and they come in and they look at your books and they figure out where the issues are, and they find these issues. So one of which, of course, being employee theft, embezzlement itself, and then they help you take care of this issue, let alone the whole other list of things that a CFO does that's going to help you save money in your company as well as make it. So the ad itself took something, a trigger point from that we were able to do the research in the market to figure out what people are granularly going to respond to, so to say. Yeah, you may be able to save me money, but it doesn't get me that excited. People want to save money. What really gets people going emotionally is someone stealing something from them. So why not we focus on our ad on them getting something stolen from them, even though the theft might only be 10% of what they're losing compared to something over here that they should be focusing on. It's what's going to emotionally appeal to the user and via means of the ad that we're running. You can go ahead and look at all the customers that you have and figure out what triggers people in your own market. Or you can, of course, read your competitors' reviews, what people are pissed off about. When they leave a negative review, what are they saying? When they leave a glowing review, what are they saying? Figure out an angle there and then start your video ad focusing in on that point, if you will. And this can be done for anything. I mean, if you're selling women's clothing, instead of just saying, hey, see how good this looks, show how, people's reaction to this dress this lady is wearing when she walks down the street or went to this wedding or class reunion, whatever it is. And so people are going to watch that, and it's entertaining to see it. Oh, wow, like people are really seeming like they really care about this new style of dress now. And then as I'm watching it, I'm of course going to get to where I want to actually buy that myself, and I at least know what it is. And so then that ad is the type of ad that YouTube's ad algorithm is going to like, it's going to love, and then try to reward you. Now, going back to the case study at hand here, what do you think the cost per view that we were getting it with the new ad versus the old ad that they had originally itself? The cost per view started out at 55 cents per view, which in that market is expensive because you're marketing to business owners. It's always more expensive to go after business owners. Otherwise, the typical cost per view is going to be closer to 10 cents a view in a standard market. We went down to 6 cents a view with that second ad. So it literally went down basically 90%, going from that one angle of ad that just focused on educating the user, trying to appeal to the user logically, and switching to an emotional appeal, getting people riled up because they know they're getting stolen from. 90% of businesses have some level of theft or embezzlement going on in your company, of which is only spotted an overseer looking at a high level that knows and is trained to spot employee theft issues. Okay, big difference in results. So people are getting educated while they're watching the ad, and education in a way that people really care about. They want to save money, but it's so nebulous. When you're talking about employee theft, people really care about that and really gets them going. Anyway, now that said, here's the key thing here. Whereas the cost per view went down 90% in that scenario that I just described, the click-through rate on the ad, the impression, the views per impression that we got, views being they have to not click the skip button, they have to watch a certain minimum amount of that video ad. Actual CTR went up only by 348% in that scenario. So the key thing here is to know that typically on any display advertising you do, the higher the click-through rate you have, the lower the cost per click or cost per view you're going to have. But with YouTube ads, with their algorithm, the way that it's set up now, if you get a doubling in your click-through rate on your ad, you're not going to get a 50% reduction in your cost per view. You're going to get like a 3x or a 4x reduction in your cost per view. There's going to be a multiple there itself. Whereas we increase our click-through rate by basically triple, we reduced our cost per view by like 90%. So there was like a 3x magnification of the benefit there. Why? Of course, Google with YouTube and their YouTube ad algorithm, they're trying to optimize for people to have better ads. They don't want just the same crappy ads that they're putting out there, so they can start to train people to want to see and actually watch ads from now on. So they're making sure that they're going to make less money from the people doing a good job and take that hit financially wise to make sure people will want to watch ads more so in the future. If you want to say also, just like with the Google search system, they're making sure the top guys make more money and they're taking away from the guys not doing as good a job to give it to them ultimately, because they want to push the guys with the crappy ads out while maintaining the good guys that have the best ads long term. So that people come in, they run their ads. Their goal is to score you, see where you fit in terms of the other advertisers, measure you against all the other people running ads to the same audience, the ones that do good. They put you up and they roll out the red carpet for you, and they're going to give you a low cost per view, and they're going to give you more views as well in your audience, a higher, that is, impression share. And the ones that are not doing as good as the benchmark or average for the audience and other advertisers advertising the same people as you, they're going to put you at the bottom of the pile. It's going to work against you. You're going to have a higher cost per view, a lot higher. And if you're still willing to pay sky high cost per view, they'll keep you around technically. They'll take advantage of you while you're still there. And it'll be very hard for you to make money. So with that anymore, just like I mentioned with search ads, unless you're going to come to the table with more and you're going to really put in the work to try to be a quality advertiser and do better than your competition. In this case, you're competing not just against your direct competitors, but everybody else running an ad to the same eyeballs or same people that you're trying to advertise to. So you have even a higher level of competition, even though most people don't know how to run a video ad, so it's not that hard to beat them, but you still have more people that you're competing against in that way because it's who you're getting in front of. And do you have something that's going to be more appealing than the other people trying to advertise and flock stuff to them? At 6 cents per view, this is very profitable. I mean, it was already profitable at 5 cents a view, way profitable at 6 cents a view. But I'll tell you from experience, generally speaking, if you don't pay that lower cost per view, that 5 cents a view, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cents a view, you're going to struggle to make money with YouTube ads. That is a gold mine when you can pay those low rates and be in front of the people that are already in market for what you're selling in your market. You pair those two together, that's where all your profit is, and you can make literally millions of dollars a year in sales revenue at a good profit margin once you pair those two things together for your business. That is the case study I wanted to share here. Ultimately, polish this up here a little bit more. Ultimately, to give you some other examples of ads we're able to make money, tried a bunch of things with the Toolbox market. We found the Toolbox, using the Toolbox was the best way we can run an ad in that market. Why? Because it was entertaining. Just showing the Toolbox and what it can do by itself, it wasn't going to get the same view rates and people not skipping the video than abusing it itself. We also, when we sold mailboxes, showing the mailbox on TV through a paid placement, an endorsement we got on Fox News, that particular view, that ad, if you will, did a lot better than an ad that shows the features and benefits of the product itself through a demonstration of that product. Why? Because when people see stuff on news, they stop and pay attention to it more than if they would have just saw a random ad. So in that case, our cost per view was a lot lower there as well. And by the way, the same stuff I'm talking about here that applies to YouTube ads that makes it work really well, you move that same video approach over to Facebook ads, it'll typically translate over there too and work very well over there for you as well. Lay this out and to give you more encouragement of doing the work to figure out this video ad that works, because it'll also probably crush it on Facebook. And if it's something that works on Facebook, by the way, it'll typically work on YouTube ads and vice versa. So usually if we're going to run one, we're going to run the other. But in those two other markets, we made a ton of money doing exactly what I'm talking about. The mailbox situation, toolbox situation, and a great number of other markets. And there's some just other angles where, that we went with to give you the, how to do the YouTube ads. Just know you got to figure out a way to sell what you're selling without it seeming not pulling teeth with your audience to watch your video ad. You figure that out, you do the targeting, like I said, you're going to make money. It's just a matter of how much. Hopefully that made sense. I'll see you on the next one. If you want to see another video, click here. It is one of my best ones.